I love spreadsheets. That's not an exaggeration. At my last job, I was the guy that everyone turned to when there's something about a spreadsheet they couldn't quite figure out. It's just something I've always been passionate about, and it's something that I use in my passion and my business as well. And in the last video, I had a comment from Mitch Toldu, hope I'm pronouncing that right, let me know if I'm not. And he asked if I could show the spreadsheet in a bit more detail, the graphs, that sort of thing. But I thought I'd expand that and show all the spreadsheets I use for managing the business and also my hobby, because I also use them for my collections as well. Apologies if I'm talking a little fast. It's a little bit of ADHD, a little bit of nerves, because I'm not used to doing this anymore, and a little bit because I'm conscious that people might be bored looking at spreadsheets, which is inevitable, I think. Right, so first thing I want to do is to show you guys this here. So this is my spreadsheet that I use for tracking my collections. I've got Ratata, Raticates, Wovits and Greedents. So this here is just a summary page, and that sort of totals up the status in this column here of what I've got going on. Now I use this to track what I need. I can see here I need that. On the side here, I've got it automatically generating a string that I can use to search in eBay to find the cards. I'm tracking how much I've spent, some totals down the bottom here, and I've also got a little bit of a total down the bottom there of where I am with it. Right, so that's my collections. My second spreadsheet, which I didn't show and probably won't again, is this one here. Now on this one I actually have a full list of all of the English Pokemon cards ever released. Mostly. It's quite a long one. It is 20,428 rows long, and it contains all sorts of things. The name, the number, that's then used to create a unique string. That unique string is used in a moment, used over here. So I created myself a sheet called the listing generator. All I have to do is put the name and the number, name of the card and the number of the card in, and it will fill in all this information automatically based on this sheet here. And that gives me a string to search to find the price of each card. I've got over here a string that I use as my titles for the listings. I've even got a string that it creates here for the image, what I save the images as. And that helps me just quickly list through cards that I get that don't fit into the variation listings that I use to sell my bulk. Doesn't happen very often. There's only been 250 cards in the whole year that have fitted in this category. Right, and this is the spreadsheet I've showed you before. So Hitch Toldu asked me to go in a little bit more information, so let's get cracking. Right, first off, I guess I'll start with the two main sheets, which is the stuff that I fill in manually whenever I get a sale. I've got an order number down the side here, that's not important. We've got the date. I put down, this just gives me an idea of what I've sold. Quantity of cards that were in that sale, and the order number from eBay. What platform it was from, so if I've sold them elsewhere, I would put that down there. I haven't actually sold anything outside of eBay at the moment, so it's just eBay down there. And then we've got the money that I made from eBay after fees. I've then got some formulas here which take away the postage, which was 87 pence last year, and this one here takes away card cost if each card was bought at 5 pence. And that gives me an idea of whether I'm making any profit on the cards or not. Money out is fairly simple. We've got a date, we've got a title of what it was, we've got most of it being postage. See, we've got any order numbers that link up with the order numbers on the money in sheet, what type of expenditure it was, whether it was me buying stock, whether it's for postage, packaging, that includes the postage itself, also anything like envelopes, that sort of thing, where I got it from, and the cost, what I paid for it. And that all comes into this sheet here. So I've got my monthly summary, which is here, which is my main one. And simply what that does is it uses a sum if, so I'm counting the amount of money on the money out sheet in column F, where column A has dates that are between this number, this date, and this date. And that goes all the way down. I do the same thing for in. I'm summing on the money in sheet, and I'm looking this time in column G, which is where the money column is, and I'm looking for column B between these two dates. Simple as that. And then we've just got some this minus this, gives me an idea of how much I've spent or how much money I've made. This column just adds that all up and gives me a total at the bottom. This one here is looking on money out, where it has the column P and P. That gives me the total for postage and packaging. This one does the same thing for stock, and this one is for other services like my eBay store, that sort of thing. This is a manual number because it's based on the number of cards I'm buying, which I update manually. Cost per card is taken from the other sheet, and these ones are similar. 7,500 is obviously just taking a sum of the number of cards in the column on the other sheet. And this one's doing something similar. For the spreadsheet, I actually use a weekly summary, which is what I've got here. Essentially, it's doing the same thing as the other one, except this time it's doing a count for the number of sales and cards, and then it's doing the sum for the money for in and out, and then it keeps another balance. So it gives me an idea, so I can see how well I'm doing for the month over here. I can see how well I'm doing for that week over here, and then I've gone further and I've done it by the day down here. All of these give me a different idea of how well I'm doing on things. Yeah, I just find it helpful to see trends and see if things are going in the right way, see if there were particular days where things went well. I also use this to track when I'm buying things and when I'm away on holiday. So again, it gives me an idea of where the numbers are in comparison to what I was doing, what I was buying, what I was selling, that sort of thing. And then further over here we have the 7-day averages. Again, it's the same as the day chart, but instead of just giving me a number for that day, I've got it so it gives me a number for that day plus the 5 previous days, and then gives me an average of those 5 days. And the reason for that is it gives a much smoother line. If you can imagine that this one is a lot more jaggedy up and down, it can be a lot harder to see any trends on that. But if you give yourself especially if you're doing it by the day, if you give yourself a 7-day average, then it just smooths the line out and you can see the curves a bit better. Otherwise this would have been just a complete jagged mess, and it would be impossible to determine what was going on. I think that's it, to be honest. If you would like to maybe get a copy of the sheet, maybe I can empty it out and provide it on Google Sheets, then hit me up in the comments. Let me know if you'd like that to be done. I can provide that. It'll be a matter of, rather than trying to edit the sheet that I upload, it'll be a matter of taking that sheet, saving it to your own Google Drive, or copying as the case may be, and then editing it from there. And that's it really. Just massive fan of spreadsheets, if you couldn't tell. I hope that helps, which hitch toe do. Right, if you found this useful, if you're still here after all that spreadsheet talk, then please feel free to give me a like and a subscription. It really helps small channels like this get off the ground. And hit me up if you've got any ideas for any videos, or if you wanted to find any more information on this sorts of things. Thanks very much, guys. Cheers.